What's up, it's Jay here from LazyAssStoner.com, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I've grown up my Facebook fan pages to over 7 million hyper-targeted fans, and I'll show you how I use those pages to drive traffic and sales to my sites over and over and over again. Now, you might have heard some scary stuff about Facebook pages and organic reach dropping and all that kind of stuff, but the truth is Facebook pages are still very much alive and well if you do it right. In fact, alongside every niche site that I build, I set up a Facebook page with the aim to grow it to thousands of fans, if not hundreds of thousands of fans. What's more is all of these fans that I get are from first world countries, and they're hyper-targeted and related to my niche. So here's the step-by-step strategy that I use to do it. So the very first step is to set up a page. Setting up pages is pretty straightforward, but here are a few things to keep in mind. First, make sure that your page name is something that's short, brandable, and that makes it obvious what your page is actually about. So for this guide, I'm going to set up an example page for the niche bonsai trees, and I'm going to call it Bonsai Obsession. It's short, it's brandable, and it's obvious what it's about. You also want to make sure that your profile picture is super simple. Remember that this image will be shown at a small size in people's Facebook feed, so make sure that you pick something that looks good even at a smaller size. Next, you want to also add a nice cover image to your page. You can find a lot of really good, free, high quality, royalty free images that you can use over at pixabay.com. And finally, you want to set up a page URL. You can do this by clicking on Create Page Username. Ideally, you want to make your page URL the same as your actual page name, but if it's already taken, that's not a huge deal. Just find some kind of alternative. For this example, Bonsai Obsession is available, but if it wasn't, I could try something like bonsaiobsession.com or Bonsai Obsess or something like that. Then I like to just post something out from the page so that it's not totally empty. This can be a simple image or a blog post or anything at all really. For my bonsai page, I just posted this random link that I found with some information about bonsai trees. So now that that's all sorted, it's time to get some followers. Now, generally speaking, the fastest way to get lots of targeted likes to your page is quite simply with Facebook ads. It's easy to do and it can be surprisingly cheap as well. However, if you're just starting out, here's a technique that you can use to get targeted likes to your page for free. All you've got to do is simply find groups that are related to your niche that allow pages to join them. So for example, I could search for stuff like bonsai and Japanese gardens and gardening and all that good stuff. Then you can hover over the join button and it will tell you whether pages are allowed to join that group. If they are, then just hit the join button, select your page and join the group. Then join several groups in this way, and then just wait a little while to be accepted into each group. Once you're accepted into each of the groups, it's time to post some content inside each one related to your niche. Now, you can do this by either simply resharing posts from your page into the group, which will also display a link back to your page below it, or you can just upload your image directly into the group. Often you'll start to get some likes right away as people find your page inside of the group, but the real magic happens once you wait a little while and then come back. Because what you can do is then click on all of the people who have liked your post and then invite them to like your page. Facebook will then send a notification to these people, prompting them to like your page. It does take a bit of time and effort to do this, but if you're posting decent content, you can actually get quite a few likes in this way without spending any money on ads whatsoever. This makes it a decent way to get your pages off the ground, especially if you're on a budget and don't have money for ads just yet. Just be cautious not to post too often inside of any one group, or you may come across as a little bit spammy. Spread your posts across many different groups though, and you should be totally fine. Then it's time to move on to the next step. So by far the very best, fastest and quickest way to get a ton of hyper-targeted likes to your page is with Facebook ads. You really don't have to be a Facebook ad expert either. This really is stupidly easy to do. All you need to do is head over to the Ads Manager and then click the Create button to begin creating a new ad. We then want to select the engagement option and choose page likes, which will tell Facebook that our main goal from this ad is to get likes to our page. Then we just create a campaign name. Now this can be pretty much anything. No one's going to see it anyway, so I've just entered bonsai campaign for this ad. Then hit continue. Next, we want to create a name for our ad. Again, nobody's going to see this. It doesn't really matter what it is. So I'm just going to enter bonsai ad 1. Then we make sure that our Facebook page is selected, and next we want to select our countries. So generally I like to stick to first world countries. My main go-tos are United States, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. Often though, I find United States to be the cheapest of the lot, so when starting out, I often just select United States. You can always delve into more countries later on though. Then you can choose your age and gender. If your niche is something that's obviously heavily targeted towards a certain age or gender, then sometimes it is a good idea to get a bit more specific with this. But if it's something that's more broad, that appeals to a lot of people, you can just leave it as it is. Often Facebook will then do the work to find out who in particular is responding best to your ads anyway. So for this example, I've just set it to anyone who is over the age of 18, because naturally we want to make sure that these people have credit cards so that they can actually buy stuff. Then choose your language. If your site's in English, choose English, obviously. And then we can set the interest that we want to target. So simply type in your main keyword and select it. For this example, I've just used the term bonsai. Then you'll be able to see your potential reach over in the corner. This is the number of people on Facebook who match your criteria and will see your ad. In this case, I can see my potential reach is 400,000, which is more than enough to get me started. If your reach isn't quite that big though, then you can always try adding more interest. So for example, I could add something closely related like Japanese gardens. In the connection section, you want to make sure that you have it set to exclude people that already like your page, because we don't want to waste money running ads to people that have already liked it. And next we want to choose our placements. Now you can set this to automatic, which will show your ads on both desktop and mobile devices. But generally, I find I get better success by choosing edit placements and then setting it to mobile only. Not only will the likes you get from mobile be cheaper, but a ton of people these days do buy stuff on their mobile devices, and other times people will like your page on their mobile and then they'll come back to their desktop later on and see your content from there. Next, we can set a budget. Just keep it something small to start with, especially if it's your first ad on a new page. A few bucks a day is really all you need. Then we want to click continue. And next we want to set an ad image. Now you can use either Facebook's inbuilt feature to find pictures for your ads. Often you can find a lot of really good images in this way, or you can upload your own. Once you've picked an image, you can then preview it to make sure that it's looking good. And just like your profile image, you want to make sure that your image is eye-catching and extremely obvious what it's about, but that it also will look good at a smaller resolution. Then the last thing we want to do is add some text to our ad to prompt the user to like the page. Just stick with something simple and straight to the point, like hit the like button if you love such and such. So for this example, I've just used hit the like button if you love bonsai trees. Then just scroll down and hit the confirm button to create your ad, and boom, you're done. Then you just need to wait for Facebook to approve your ad, which usually happens pretty fast. Sometimes it'll only be a couple of minutes before your ad is approved and running. Once your ad is approved, you should start to see likes rolling in almost right away. Not long after setting up this ad in particular, I was able to see that I was getting likes to my page for 4 cents a like, which is pretty decent considering that I did no testing or anything, and these are all hyper-targeted users from first world countries. This is in Australian dollars too, so once you convert it to American dollars, it actually works out to be more like 3 cents a like. With some testing, you could probably get this down even further too. I've had campaigns run as low as 1 cent a like for long periods of time, but the cost will really depend on a lot of different factors, including your niche, your ad image, and your targeting settings. But we can also average the cost per like down even further by going to view our ad after it's been running for a while by clicking the See Posts with Comments button. Then from here we can view all of the people that have clicked the like button on our ad and go through and invite them all to like our page. Usually there will be a lot of people who liked the ad but didn't actually like the page, so this can be a super effective way to really get more bang for your buck when it comes to running ads like this. As I said before, this stuff is pretty simple, it's not rocket science. Throw up some ads, play around, and you'll see just how simple this stuff is. So once you've got a few likes on your page, your next job is to post out some engaging, niche-related content that's going to compel people to like, share, and comment on your posts. Content that I often find that works well includes stuff like memes. There's a good reason that just about every social account on the web, from big massive corporations through to random niche blogs, post out memes, and it's quite simply because they're viral as hell. To find related memes, you can just simply do a Google image search. You can also find stuff on Pinterest. Another type of content that you can post that works well is informational images. So basically these are images that consist of a picture with some kind of written text over the top of it. To find these sort of images, you can just search for stuff like infographics, and they can work particularly well with how-to style niches. Alternatively, you can make your own. For example, I could just take a bonsai image like this, slap over some information like this, and boom, I have my own infographic. If you have a website already created, you can even reuse sections of your text from your website and then just paste it into the infographic. One advantage of doing it yourself is you can also then watermark it with a link to your site, which gives you some bonus visitors as this image gets shared around the web. Other types of content that can work well include stuff like niche-related quotes or even niche-related videos. Start by testing out different types of content on your page to see what works best for you, because depending on your niche, you might find that certain types of content perform a lot better than others. Once you have a good idea of what's working for you, you then just want to find or create a lot more content like that. The goal is to build up enough images and content that it'll last you multiple months, and then you can even start to recycle through your old content while putting out little bits of new content here and there. You often find a lot of the biggest social accounts in the world actually do reuse their images multiple times. The trick is just to make sure that you're not reposting the same thing 2 days in a row. Have enough content so that you can repost something a month later and most people won't even notice. And posting out regular content in this way helps in a couple of different ways. First, it keeps your page engagement up, and as a result, the more engagement that you get on each piece of your content, the more exposure Facebook will give to your future posts. So this means that when you do actually go to post out a link to your site, you actually get more attention to it because of all of your viral posts. And the second is this helps with organic page growth. So every time someone reshares one of your pieces of content, their friends will see it in their newsfeed, and there's a chance that they'll then like your page too. And again, with every piece of content that you post out, you can also take advantage of the invite to like feature. So just view all of the people that have liked the post, and then go through and invite everyone to like your page. Combine all of these tactics and you should have your first few thousand followers in no time at all. Step 5 is automating your pages. So managing a page and posting out new content all the time can be quite time consuming, especially once you get to the point where you have multiple pages on the go. But thankfully there are a bunch of tools out there that you can use to take the headache out of this process so that your content goes out on autopilot at exactly the times you want. And the tool that I use myself and have been using for years now to manage all of my Facebook pages is called FP Traffic. If you head over to lazyarsstoner.com/FP Traffic, then you can get yourself an FP Traffic account at a price that's a hell of a lot lower than other similar tools. And this tool is so effective that I use it to manage all of my 7 million likes across my various pages. And here's how it works in a nutshell. First, you can choose one of their content sources to find niche related images to schedule out from your pages. So for example, I could choose Bing, I could search for bonsai infographics, and boom, I'll get a whole bunch of bonsai images that I can then choose and schedule out from my page. All you have to do to schedule each image is just click it, and just like that, it's added to your page's schedule. Alternatively, you can also upload your own images by using their upload images feature, which will allow you to upload up to 100 images at a time. Once you've scheduled some content, you then want to use the schedules feature to pick what time you want your post to go out, as well as how many times a day you want to post. Generally, it's a good idea to schedule your posts at times that your page visitors are most active, and you can find this out by going over to your page insights on Facebook. Then if you head over to manage and select your page, you can see all of the content that you now have scheduled out to go out from your page. Once your page starts to run low on content, you can also go back in and then use the recycle feature to then reschedule a whole bunch of your previous posts in just one click. And just like that, your page is all fully automated so that you don't have to go in and post stuff manually every single day. The link again for this tool is over at lazyarsstoner.com/FP Traffic. Step 6 is cross-promoting your pages. So here's a simple trick that I've used to launch a lot of new pages and grow them massively for absolutely no cost. And I highly recommend using it once you've got a decent number of likes on your pages. It works by simply cross-promoting content between your new pages and your existing pages to grow your new pages. So for example, let's say I decided to create a new page that's closely related to my bonsai page, but themed around Japanese gardens. I could then post out a bunch of Japanese garden related content on the page, But I could also throw in a bunch of images and posts about bonsai trees too, since that also falls under the category of Japanese gardens. Then I can just repost these posts over on my bonsai trees page, and just like that, I'll start to get people liking my Japanese gardens page. This simple image that I cross-promoted from this Japanese gardens page got a couple hundred likes to this Japanese gardens page for no extra cost. The more that each post gets reshared, the more their friends will see it, and the more people that will like your new pages. If you do this often, you can grow new pages really fast, and once your pages are really big, you can even attract thousands of free likes per post by doing this. Here's some stats for a page that I set up not too long ago for one of my own niche pages, in which I did this cross-promoting technique and was able to get thousands of likes to the new page by simply cross-promoting my content. This was all done with just a couple of posts and without spending a cent on ads. Once you have a big network of niche-related pages, you really can grow up new pages quite quickly in this way. And if you look at a lot of the top sites out there, you'll see that they actually do just this. So for example, if you take a look at this page for the Dodo, which is a big Facebook page dedicated to animals, you'll see them actually cross-promoting content from their other pages. Here you can see them cross-promoting one of their pages that's targeting pit bulls, which they've managed to build up to over 3 million likes. And they have a ton of pages doing this exact same thing. In total, they probably have tens of millions of likes across their network, which they can then use to promote their stuff. The long story short is that building up a network of closely related pages and cross-promoting between them can allow you to totally dominate a niche on Facebook. Step 7 is setting up a Facebook group. Creating a group for your niche can give you yet another place to post all of your content. And groups can be quite viral too, often only requiring a little push before they start to take on a life of their own and attract a ton of new members organically. This happens as group members start to invite their friends to join the group, and as well as your group begins to show up in the suggested group section on Facebook. To set up a group, just head over to your page and then choose the create group option. Then choose a name that is descriptive and related to your niche. For privacy, you can choose either the closed or public setting. It's debatable which is better, but basically the closed option will require people to join the group before they can see the content inside of it, which often helps to motivate people to click the join button. Then just hit create group and upload a cover image. And once you're done, you can post out a couple of posts so that your group isn't totally empty. To get your first group members, you can just head over to the sidebar where you can then invite people that like your page to also join your group. And once you've invited a few people, you'll pretty soon start to see your first members joining. On top of that, you can also make a post from your page telling people to join your group, and if you've got a decent number of people on your page, you can really get quite a few members this way. And after inviting a few people to join my group and making a post out from my page, you can see I've already attracted a few hundred members inside of it with very little effort. Then you can just use your group to reshare content from your pages, as well as post out links to your websites. And finally, step 8 is to post out links to your website from your Facebook pages. But to get the most effect from your links, you're going to want to make sure that each of your site posts are optimized for Facebook. And by this, I mean making sure that you have a killer thumbnail and title. So for example, here's a WordPress website that I quickly set up that's targeting this bonsai niche. If you don't have your own website yet, then you can head over to lazyassstoner.com/HostGator to get a HostGator account at a massively reduced price, which is the host that I've set up this bonsai site on. Just use the coupon next to nothing at the checkout and you can get your first month of hosting for just 1 cent or up to 60% off your total order. Once you've got your hosting set up, you just install WordPress from the control panel, install a WordPress theme, and then create your content in the post section. So here's a post that I created quickly as an example, titled 7 Reasons Everyone Should Grow a Bonsai Tree. It's just a random post that I've quickly slapped together. Now to optimize this post for Facebook, I would then go over to my WordPress control panel and go to the plugin section and add new. Then I would search for SEO by Yoast, install the plugin and activate it. This will then add a new section to the post editing page where you can then change the title and the thumbnail that will show up for each of your posts. Generally, you want to make sure that your title is something good and catchy. If your post is already a good title, you can usually just leave this. What's most important though is your thumbnail. So you want to make sure that you have a really eye-catching thumbnail that's going to stand out and that's also going to look good at a small size. Here's the Facebook thumbnail that I've created for this post. It's simple, it's eye-catching, and often I find that these sort of cartoony vector style images do surprisingly well since they stand out a lot when every other site is using photography and real photo images, and often not very good ones either. Photo images can work really well too. Just make sure that the subject is something eye-catching. Facial expressions can work really well. Something intriguing can work really well. Often the image that you use can actually make or break a post on Facebook. And often I see a lot of people creating really good content, but then creating really bad Facebook images, and as a result, they don't get nearly as much traction as they should. So make sure you choose your thumbnails wisely. Then once you've done that, you can do a Google search for Facebook debug tool, and this tool will allow you to then type in your page URL and then preview how it's going to look in Facebook. Then if everything looks good, you can just go ahead and post it out from your page. And in total, this post right here that I created quickly on the fly as an example attracted 150 reshares, over 300 likes, and around 250 clicks. Keep in mind too that you'll be able to reshare this multiple times. Often as your page grows, it is a good idea to keep resharing that content because a lot of your new likers won't have seen it, and a lot of other people will see it that didn't see it the first time around because maybe they just weren't on Facebook at that time or whatever. You can also then post your links out to your related pages. So I could post this on my Japanese gardens page. You can post it out to your groups, and your goal should be to grow your overall audience within a certain niche to such a point that every time you put out a new bit of content, you have tons of assets right there waiting for you to then post it out from, allowing you to get a ton of visitors and reshares and all that good stuff to each page. And this page is relatively small when you compare it to some of my other big pages. With some of my bigger and more established actual pages, I've been able to get tens of thousands of clicks just for one post, and this is all organic. No boosting posts, nothing like that. There's thousands and thousands of reshares, there's thousands and thousands of likes for each of these posts. And the beauty of all of this is not just the hundreds of thousands of visitors that I get directly from Facebook, but it's also the impact that this has on my site in the search engine. When you throw thousands of reshares and links and stuff like that in this way from my Facebook pages, you'd be amazed at how quickly stuff ranks. not only do I get all these reshares from Facebook, but countless people will then reshare it on other social networks like Pinterest and Twitter and whatever. They'll link it from other websites, and basically this just becomes a phenomenal way to get my sites ranking. Having a big network of Facebook pages like this really is stupidly powerful once you get it going. And that is how you can totally dominate Facebook for your niche. Now, for more information on exactly how I build up sites, how I monetize them, and all that kind of stuff, be sure to check out my free newbie crash course over at lazyrstoner.com/newbie. This free crash course will walk you through all of the steps that you'll need to know to set up your first profitable website. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more no bullshit, no hype videos about how money is really made online. Until next time, peace.